Since it's been over 2 years now since you guys have seen any last updates on this Zombies Roguelike project, it's probably about time that I actually start, updating you guys on everything. Now, there's a lot of things to show off, and to make sure to where this video isn't like an hour long and everything, I'm going to try to condense things as fast as I can, and this whole little series, I guess, I don't know what to call it, is going to be split up into multiple different videos. This one is kind of focusing on the aspects of the gameplay mechanics and how it will actually function as a whole. To start off is probably the biggest thing that I want to make sure is clear up front. Yes, this project is to promote roguelike concepts, roguelike ideas, and encourage players to engage with these roguelike systems. But if someone comes along and wants to play it with more of a mindset of a traditional zombies mode, that option will still be there in some regards. Instead of just sitting here and blabbing on about it, let me just show you what I mean and explain how the basic gameplay loop of the whole thing works. And now here's your warning, TLDR, whatever you want to call it. All of what I'm going to show you is obviously still work in progress. That includes map design, level design, making sure everything is working 100% functional. Everything is subject to change for what you're about to see. So you load into the map, you turn on power, and then there's a button that you're going to need to push. Now, eventually, there's going to be a seed system implemented into the map. And what that means is basically there's going to be a specific string of letters or numbers attached to your playthrough. And if you gave that line of string to someone else, they would have the same exact RNG as you did. For now, however, you push the button, and what does happen is it completely constructs a full zombies map in real time in front of you. Now, the basic way that I have this working, and the simplest way to explain it to you guys, is kind of think of it like Dead Ops Arcade. There's a bunch of different smaller maps that randomly get attached to each side of each other. And then inside of each smaller map, the wall buys get randomized, and the perk machines will also be randomized. Once the map finally gets constructed, you're able to step in the teleporter, and it will put you in the randomized starting room. Now, you just play this round out as normally. Nothing's different at all. You just go in, kill the zombies, and then at the end of the round is where things start to get a little bit more interesting. First, you'll notice that a reward dropped for you. Every time that you clear a room for the very first time, you're guaranteed to get at least a reward, and the amount rewards depends on how many players are in the game. Now, you have a couple options of what you can do with this reward. You can obviously either take it for yourself, or you could let a teammate take it if you're playing with multiple players, or say it's something that you don't want at all entirely, you can just dismantle it and get some points back for yourself instead. Once you've divvied up the rewards that have dropped and then checked the random perk machines or random wall buys and seen if there's anything else you want, you now have another interesting choice to make. You can choose one of potentially 4 cardinal directions and go to a new room, clear it, and get guaranteed rewards, or you can simply choose to just stay in the same room and keep playing where you're currently at. Now, let me kind of expand on that a little bit more as well, because I don't mean that you can only replay a room while you're in it. As you begin to open and expand the map more by unlocking more rooms, you can go back to old rooms and play there as well. So that way, even though this is more of a roguelike approach dungeon crawler to zombies, say someone has that classic zombies itch and they're like, oh, I really enjoyed training zombies in this room, or I really enjoyed, just camping in this room for a round, It gives them the option to just go back and play that way if they want to play that way. Also, the option to just replay a room forever and ever will satisfy players that love doing first room challenges, because they can just load into the map, stay in the first room forever, and just see how long they can survive. Now, if players do choose to stay in the same room for whatever reason, if they can stay in that same room for 5 consecutive rounds, they will also get the same type of rewards that they can get for opening a brand new room. And it's not just a one-time thing. They can stay there for 5 consecutive rounds multiple times and keep getting rewards. For now, though, let's say that we decide to move on to a new room. Now we could possibly just go to another normal room to where you just go in there and you just play zombies again. Or there are 3 types of special rooms that you could potentially be going into, and they're always notified on the mini-map before you go into them. One is the shop room. Opening this doesn't require you to play and open it first. All you have to do is clear the zone that is attached to it. Now, a shop system isn't anything new or revolutionary, but for anyone that might not understand what a shop system is, basically think of it like a mystery box that you can go into and buy specific things from it, but those specific things are randomly chosen. So you walk up to Mr. Monkey Man here, and on the left side, you see he has weapons that were chosen at random. And on the right side, you can see that there are perks that were chosen at random. Now, eventually, I want to add more, kind of like shop gamble things into this as well. Like, if you've played Risk of Rain, I want to add like a Shrine of Order system into something here as well, because I think that would be some fun chaos. But this just gives you an idea of what a working shop system would be like. Now, the next special room we want to cover is the Challenge Room. And this will be a special zombies round that gets played. You go in and you interact with the main pedestal. Once you do that, there will be special requirements for you to then complete the round. For right now, the only thing that I have implemented is zombies will spawn infinitely and they will only take headshot damage. Not anything new, but it's to show off the concept. You clear the challenge round, and this counts as a regular zombie round. Doing so will give you twice the amount of rewards of clearing a normal room. Now, you can't just keep spamming the challenge room over and over back to back. There is a short round cooldown between each activation of it. But if you wait the round cooldown, and I believe I have it set to 3 rounds right now, if you wait that cooldown, you are more than welcome to come back into that room 3 rounds later and do another challenge and get more rewards from there. And now the final special room you are able to go to is the boss room. Now this is, again, it counts as a full zombies round, but it's going to be an actual boss fight. And no, I don't just mean a Brutus monster running around whenever there's zombies spawning at the same time. That's just a massive health sponge and blah, blah, blah. I want it to be an actually properly designed boss fight. However, at this moment, I ain't know how to do any of that. So you're just gonna get one zombie with a big health pool just so we can show the concepts off. But if you are able to kill the big scary boss that is trying to kill you, you get rewarded by rewards and then have a couple different options to which you can choose from. You can either decide to stay on your current map construction. You could go back to an old room. You could play there. You could try to go open new rooms that you haven't opened yet. You could just stay there forever if you want. Basically, that would be your zombies map there entirely. Or you have the option to interact with the lion, and it would quote unquote take you to a new dungeon floor. What this means is you would go back to the spawn hub world and you would re-interact with that same button that you pushed at the very start. You would still be on the same RNG seed whenever that gets implemented, but the map would be completely reconstructed. You would get completely new wall buys, completely new perk placements, and every time you earn a reward, the chances of the rewards being better or higher tiered is also increased as well. So giving the player the option here is, again, just another push of if someone wants to play more classic and just have that little taste, of roguelike, they can just stay on the same floor and have their own little mini map there. But if someone really wants to chase their power fantasy, keep opening new rooms, keep getting more rewards, keep getting stronger, they are more than free to keep doing that as well. Now let's say the player does indeed choose to go to the next floor. While you're in the hub world, if you were able to get through the previous floor quick enough, or if you were able to speed run it fast enough, whenever you come back to the hub world, there will be a room that gets unlocked that will give you even extra rewards if you're able to get through it fast enough. And that idea basically came from Dead Cells. Now, I don't have it implemented yet, but that's why whenever you open the scoreboard, there's a time section there. So that way you can see how fast you are going through each round and through each floor. And now, speaking on the scoreboard, let's go over some of these other things you might have noticed here that I've not talked about. I wanted to change the scoreboard screen just to kind of, give more pertinent information to the player that they might actually care about when opening the screen. So obviously there's a larger mini map just so it's easier to read. There's the times section so that way you can know how fast you are playing in regards to the rewards we were just talking about. And then I also added a drop tracking section. So that way, if you're trying to remember where you're at in the drop cycle currently, there's an in-game system that lets you help track it easier if you want to open your scoreboard and use it. And one last note about the timers section before I go on to the power-ups. The way that I have it working is the round timer is from when the zombies start spawning to when the last zombie dies. That is the round time. The floor time is from whenever you first enter the floor to whenever you leave the floor and go back to the hub world. The reason that there's a difference there is whenever you finish a round, the next round will not physically start until the player makes a choice whether they want to stay in the same room or go to a new room or go to the challenge room or whatever. Once you kill the last zombie, the next round does not start automatically. So say I eventually add an Easter egg, right, or something, and you just want to run around and look at every little small detail. Everybody can do it in peace. They don't need to be no one holding the zombie anymore. But say you choose to do that, it could impact your floor timer, and the floor timer is what would determine the speedrun rewards. So just keep that in note. Now, on the subject of power-ups, as you've probably saw from when I showed off the scoreboard screen or just from the gameplay, you have a chance of something special happening. Every time that you get a power-up drop, it could be an upgraded version of it from green to red. And each red version of the power-ups have an extra ability that you get during its time limit compared to the green one. And the inspiration from this is just straight from Black Ops 2 with the red insta-kill skull. However, to get the red versions of the upgrade, there's nothing that the player can necessarily directly do to get them. They can increase chances for it to happen, like being on a harder dungeon floor, or maybe from a perk drop or something, but there's nothing that the player specifically needs to do. Now, there are 5 power-up drops that the player can get currently. There's max ammo, with its upgraded thing being unlimited ammo as well for a X amount of time. There's the nuke, which also makes it to whenever you kill a zombie after the initial nuke explosion, it has a mini nuke that goes off. There's insta-kill, which is straight from Black Ops 2. When zombies touch you, they instantly die. There's double points, which turns into quadruple points. And then there is the level up power up that increases the level of everything by X amount for a short period of time. Now, the topic of levels will be explained more over the next couple of videos when I talk specifically about weapons and perks in those videos. But just know that weapons can be leveled up and perks can also be leveled up as well. The last big quality of life change that I'm messing around with and I'm seeing how it plays out is the point system. It's not the traditional point per bullet system, and I could go on a long spiel about how point per bullet in a roguelike simulator could break the shop system very easily, and you don't want to do that. So TLDR, it's not a point per bullet system, it's a point per kill system, but it's not just a pure point per kill system. The points get split in half towards, did you get the kill? Okay, now we see how much damage each player put into this zombie, and the other half of the points get split up evenly. Let me give a quick TLDR example of this. A zombie has 120 points to give. It dies. The player that gets the final blow is automatically getting 50% of those points. So that player is getting 60 points no matter what. Now, for the remaining 60 points, the other 50%, that zombie is going to look and see how much percentage-wise each player in the game damaged. If it is found that another player did 99.9% of the damage, that other player is going to get the other 60 points, and the player that got the final blow won't get anything else extra. But let's say that zombie was equally damaged amongst 3 other players. The player that got the final blow will then get an additional 20 points on top of the 60 that they're already getting from getting the final blow. And the 2 other players that assisted in getting that kill will each receive 20 points each. It's a new concept. I like the idea of an assist system, so I'm going to play with it and we'll see how it turns out. Now, for fear of information overload to you guys, I think that's a good place to wrap up this video and talking about the basics of how the gameplay loop and cycle of this entire zombies dungeon crawler roguelike project is going to work. So as I said at the start of the video, I want to make a couple more videos talking about things that I couldn't talk. In this video, one of them being about perks. I have 42 perks that I need to cover, and not just the perks themselves, but how the perk system itself works. It's simple enough to where if you just want to buy perks and go, you can do that. But if you're smart about how you do it and you pick and choose, you could get even more powerful if you play it right. With the other video I want to make being focused on weapons and the weapons system, and more specifically, how my philosophy with choosing specific weapons, what I want to do with the wonder weapons, and how I want the AAT system to interact between weapons and wonder weapons. Basically, AATs do not need to be wonder weapons themselves, but make wonder weapons enhance AATs. It's a really cool concept. I've never seen it done before, and I'm really curious to see feedback on it once I get it implemented, or once I show it off, I should say, because I have it working with one case scenario. However, I really hope I've covered everything in this video that I wanted to cover. If there's anything from this video that you've seen that isn't basically perk or weapon related, if you have questions about it, feel free to ask down below in the comments, and I'm going to try to do my best to answer all of them that I can. This project, again, it's been scale-wise, it's gotten bigger than I thought it would, but I'm enjoying it, and it's still fun to be creative again. So until the next video, I love you guys. Thanks for watching my videos and my content, and I'll see you next time.